Representing Australia, Rachael Gunn.
Viewers questioned why she was chosen.
Yes, Rachael didn't get a point.
You've seen
the one I'm talking
The
about.
athlete from down under that everyone is talking about and sure to be this year's most popular Halloween costume.
G'day mateys, once again we journey into the bizarre world of competitive breakdancing, where athleticism gets traded for artistry, and apparently delusion runs rampant. Our subject, Australia's own Rachael Gunn, better known to the world as B-Girl Raygun. Raygun has somehow fumbled her way to the top of the breakdancing world rankings. This is shocking for several reasons. Today we're going to be breaking down why. There's a lot of confused people after the last video that we put out on the subject. Her actual dancing makes a drunken kangaroo look coordinated. But it's true, she has moved up to the #1 ranked breakdancer in the world. If you need to know the full story behind Raygun, feel free to check these videos out. But if you're already caught up, let's dive in. But please, for the love of God, guys, subscribe. So many viewers with hardly subscribers. It means a lot to me. Thank you for supporting. All right, let's do it. The 2024 Paris Olympics was the debut of breakdancing. The world held its breath while Raygun choked hard. Please keep in mind, everyone, that Australia has not claimed this woman. They made this known in my last video's comments. They've completely disowned her. This is not Australia's fault. With her arms flailing and legs snapping, she careened around the stage like a runaway bouncy castle. It was a train wreck of epic proportions, a performance so spectacularly bad that it transcended mere failure and entered the realm of performance art. One might think that after such a public display of ineptitude, Raygun would slink back to obscurity, her tail between her legs. After all, the world's laughter was a harsh reminder of her failure. The embarrassment was real. Most people faced with such a situation would take a step back, reassess their skills, perhaps even consider a different career path. Not a chance, mate. This is Raygun, remember? Delusion is her superpower. Instead of retreating, she doubled down, literally blaming her home country for her failures.
Unfortunately, we just need some more resources in Australia for us to have a chance to beat world champions. Historically, unfortunately, we haven't had the best track record of winning world championships.
In the post-Olympic interview, Raygun, with the straight face of a seasoned con artist, blamed everyone but herself for her abysmal performance. She stood there, unwavering, as she spun a web of excuses that would make even the most skilled politician proud. Her ability to deflect blame was nothing short of impressive. Australia, she claims, has failed to provide adequate funding and support to breed talented athletes. According to her, the lack of resources was the primary reason for her poor showing. In fact, she claims that all athletes that come out of Australia are losers waiting to happen. Surely you can't blame her for this, can you?
Historically, unfortunately, we haven't had the best track record of winning world championships. I don't think that's just on me.
She painted a picture of an underfunded athlete struggling against the odds, a narrative that conveniently ignored her own shortcomings. The international judges and the world were biased against her unique style. She argued that her innovative moves were simply too cutting edge for the inexperienced panel of judges.
Well, one of those judges from New Zealand was speaking actually in your defence in explaining what had happened, and he said this.
All us judges talked about how she was going to get smashed, absolutely smashed.
As soon as I qualified, I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Because I knew that I was going to get beaten, and I knew that people were not going to understand my style and what I was going to do.
Her frustration was evident as she recounted how she knew in advance that she would be losing the competition. Not because of lack of talent, but because of lack of funding and the fact that most of the world is not familiar with breakdancing.
A lot of the responses, though, is also just due to people not being very familiar with breaking and the diversity of approaches in breaking. In the breaking community, what I did actually wasn't very shocking. It's just a different approach in breaking. You have the athletic style breakers, and you also have the more artistic style breakers, and all of them are very valid.
A masterclass in deflection, a symphony of excuses so audacious, so utterly lacking in self-awareness that one couldn't help but admire the sheer audacity of it all. Her expressive body language and exaggerated excuses were almost theatrical. She turned the interview into a performance in its own right. This was not a woman who accepted defeat gracefully. Her defiance was clear, and she sat there with her arms crossed, refusing to acknowledge any personal responsibility. To her, the fault lay with everyone else, and she was merely a victim of circumstances beyond her control.
I have trained my hardest. I have trained so hard. Learning power moves in your mid-30s is not easy. Let's just say that.
This was a woman who would rather blame the entire world than acknowledge her own shortcomings. In her mind, she was a misunderstood genius, unfairly judged and unsupported by those who should have been her biggest allies. Now, you might be asking yourself, if she's so terrible, how the bloody hell is she ranked #1 in the world? It's a question that has baffled many, from casual fans to seasoned professionals. How can someone who is more of a spectacle than a skilled performer hold the top spot in this competitive field? Well, dear viewers, welcome to the wacky world of the World DanceSport Federation, where logic goes to die and bureaucracy reigns supreme. In this topsy-turvy universe, the usual rules of talent and skill are often overshadowed by a myriad of other factors that can make or break a dancer's career. You see, the WDSF ranking system is a complex beast that takes into account a dizzying array of factors. It's not just about how many competitions you've won or how many perfect scores you've received. No, it's far more intricate than that.
I won the Oceania Championships.
As simple as that.
It was a direct qualifier.
It's so convoluted and utterly baffling that it's easier to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded underwater while being chased by a big Australian shark. And somewhere within the bowels of this monstrous system lies the answer to the Raygun enigma. While Gunn's ranking has caused debate, the WDSF has clarified that she earned the top spot. This was due to her victory at the Oceania qualifier in October 2023. This win took precedence over a tie with Japanese B-Girl Raygun. The WDSF also explained that the rankings are currently skewed due to the Olympic cycle. With fewer competitions held during this time, many athletes' rankings are based on a single event. So essentially, the Olympic cycle significantly influenced the current breakdancing ranking. Athletes have fewer opportunities to earn points and improve their positions. The rankings are also based on a smaller data set. This makes it difficult to accurately assess the skill level and competitive performance of athletes.
Do you genuinely think you are the best female breaker in Australia?
I think my record speaks to that.
Yes, Raygun, my friends, is the undisputed queen of the game. She has mastered the art of turning every situation to her advantage, making every misstep look like a deliberate part of her grand strategy. In the end, it's not just her dancing that has earned her the top spot. It's her unparalleled ability to navigate the treacherous waters of the WDSF ranking system. So, while her dance moves might leave you scratching your head, what should be more mind-boggling is how all of these unscrupulous organizations are allowing this arrogant Aussie to be pushed to the top simply to fit their narrative. From the Olympics themselves to the WDSF, all the way to Raygun's blatant gaslighting, we the people are being forced to sit back and watch this corrupt world fall deeper into darkness. But maybe I'm just crazy, you guys. Maybe she deserves to be #1. Maybe I am just an insolent hater of this talented Olympian athlete. You guys let me know in the comments. And please, for the love of God, subscribe this time, guys. We got so many great views on that last video, but hardly any subscribers. It may mean nothing to you, but it means a lot to me. Thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you all at the next video.